And now to the confusion over junior secondary school transition. The assessment of primary schools across the country entered day 5 as the Ministry of Education seeks to establish schools that meet the threshold be registered as junior secondary schools. The lack of preparation by a section of schools exacerbates the concern of many parents who decry lack of clear guidelines on how they should prepare their children for grade 7. And as Serfine Achieng now reports, a section of them say that they are stuck in the dark, a state of confusion that comes less than 2 weeks to the reopening of schools.
Day 5 since the Ministry of Education launched the assessment of public and private schools across the country to establish their suitability to host junior secondary school.
So you can see the right.
The tours by education officials revealing that some schools are ill-prepared, further exposing the harsh reality of lack of adequate infrastructure in many schools across the country. In Busia County, for instance, a section of ed teachers are decrying the sorry state of infrastructure and lack of basic amenities to guarantee delivery of quality education.
Darasa 16 ziweze kukarabatiwa. Ni kama Fort Jesus. Zilijengwa na wazungu mpaka leo hakuna mtu amefikiria. Juzi wasichana walikuja kwangu wakaniambia ni wapi wanafunzi wakienda chuo nyumbani. Because 420 girls are using 4 halls. Kwa hivyo kengele break ikipigwa wanapanga laini. Na wanatumia almost 2 lessons kujisaidia.
The prevailing state, they say, threatens the successful transition of learners to junior secondary schools later this month.
We propose construction of 15 new classrooms to cater for the junior secondary. That is just beginning on 23rd. The construction of a modern library, construction of a modern laboratory.
The practicality of these proposals, however, remain in question, considering the fact that it's just 10 days to the reopening of schools, throwing the fate of learners who are expected to join junior secondary school into a state of limbo. Schools are expected to meet at least 60% of requirements detailed in the checklist by the Ministry of Education, which include an enrollment of not less than 45 learners, with those failing to meet this requirement proposed to be merged with other schools within a 2 kilometers radius for grade 7. Parents decrying what they describe as being left in the dark over the fate of their children.
Kuna shule zingine zinaenda kufungwa, watoto waelekezwe shule zingine. Sijui kama wangu atakuwa baadhi ya hawa ama atakuwa baadhi ya wagani. Tunayumba sana katika elimu ya shule. Tumekuwa mara tunashindwa kutoa watoto kwa shule, mara tunaambiwa wataenda kuishi kwa shule, mara tunaambiwa wanabaki kwa zile shule walikuwa. Sasa hatujapata mwelekeo kamili.
Mpaka saa hii hatujaambiwa ni kitu gani tunastahili kufanya. Hata hatujaambiwa juu ya fee structure ni ngapi. Hatujui pesa ni ngapi, vitu ambayo wanaenda kutumia ni vitu gani, hatujaambiwa mpaka saa hizi.
The targeted schools are also expected to have enough qualified teachers, with parents also seeking answers on whether the plan by the government to employ 30,000 teachers will suffice.
Sasa kama tuko na 30,000 shule na walimu wanaenda kuachiliwa 30,000, that means kila shule itaenda kuwa na mwalimu mmoja. Na tuko na around 12 subjects. Walimu wengine wanatoka wapi waenda kufunza hii? The government must come clearly, more particularly the Minister for Education.
The ongoing assessment will also consider the size and ownership of the land the school occupies, as well as other physical infrastructure such as extra classrooms and a well-equipped laboratory for the integrated science lessons. That requirement to construct a laboratory, leave alone equipping it, remains the biggest test for a majority of schools, especially those in rural areas, some of which learners are forced to make do with structures not qualified to be called classrooms.
CBC mimi ningesema kuwa wameharakisha sana. Hatujakubaliana na serikali kwa sababu imeweka mikakati fulani lakini haijakamilika. Wangeipea muda kiasi. Nikihakikisha kuwa wangeweka kwanza pesa zile ambazo zinatosha kwanza ndipo wasipe wazazi mzigo mzito.
Amidst the growing concern, education stakeholders, however, maintain that the train has already left the station as they sustain their optimism that CBC will work.
The plans we have is to have a separate compound for the junior secondary school. We have already acquired the space, and we want to embark on the construction come January, towards the end of this month, as soon as we open the school.
For some of the schools that are far much apart, over 2 kilometers, there will be affirmative action, but that will depend on the assessment that we have and agreement with the stakeholders that one of the schools in that area will be hosting other schools.
Over 1.2 million learners sat for the Kenya Primary Education Assessment examinations and are expected to join grade 7 at the end of this month. Their successful transition, however, depends on how much will be achieved in addressing all the pending issues. Serfine Achieng, Citizen TV.